From Gretchen to Eradicators, Land Raiders to Warlord Titans, this guardsman can literally kill anything in a single shooting phase. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today we're doing a slightly sillier video, where we look at a potential rules loophole for Trooper Bragg, one of the new Gaunt's Ghost miniatures that have just come out from Games Workshop. People did mention this to me when I was talking about the rules for the Gaunt's Ghosts as a whole squad, but I thought it was worth waiting until the entire datasheet had been leaked until talking about it to see whether it was actually right. On taking a closer look, I do think that it checks out, and that Mr. Bragg can casually kill any single unit in the game, and do it in a single shooting phase. Obviously I put this into the realm of silly rules exploits that I wouldn't take too seriously. I'm certain that it wasn't intended by Games Workshop, and it maybe is just a little bit questionable by the wording of the actual rule. I definitely wouldn't advocate using it at a tournament or anything like that, but I still find it pretty funny to have a look. So a few days back we talked about the full rules for Gaunt's Ghosts, as Games Workshop showed off basically all of them in one of their online previews. They're an 135-point HQ choice for the Imperial Guard, basically a unit of characters with a whole bunch of different abilities, each to represent the characters from the novels. One of those characters is Trooper Try Again Bragg, who is a model equipped with an autocannon and frag grenades, and seems to be one of the very worst shots in the entire Imperial Guard army, only having a ballistic skill of 5+. He's equipped with an autocannon and frag grenades, and he's got a quirky special rule to try again if he misses with his shots. I think it's really quite a fun and flavourful rule, to be honest. Sure, his marksmanship might not be all that great, but if he doesn't kill his target the first time, he'll sure as hell have another go. Now the rule is worded just a little bit curiously. It says that in the shooting phase, each time this unit has resolved its attacks, if no hits were scored by Bragg's autocannon, this model can immediately shoot again. I think the intent was just for him to have one more round of shooting with that autocannon, so despite his very bad ballistic skill, it means that he actually does have a really decent chance of landing a hit. Up to 4 dice rolling against a 5+, usually you'll get 1. However, there's no real off clause in this, and there isn't anything to say that he only gets the one attempt. Basically the unit resolves the attacks, so Bragg gets to fire his autocannon, and then after he's fired that autocannon, the unit's finished his attacks, so he gets to fire that autocannon again. Presuming he is choosing to fire his autocannon, it seems that you get to roll and roll and roll until you get at least one hit. Funnily enough, despite ballistic skill 5+, it means that he's one of the few models to absolutely guarantee landing a hit on his target, unless you're firing something like flamer weapons. However, as well as the rule being slightly broken in that way, it totally and completely forgot that he also gets frag grenades as well as his autocannon. This means that if he can get the ghosts within 6 inches, then Bragg can elect to throw a frag grenade instead of fire his autocannon, where he'll almost certainly do very little indeed, hitting on a 5+ with only a frag grenade profile. But of course, whatever happens, he certainly won't get any hits with his autocannon. As per his special rules, if no hits were scored with his autocannon, then the model gets to immediately shoot again, and after it's done that, the unit will have resolved all its attacks, so Bragg gets to try again, throwing another frag grenade, then another one, and on until whatever he is trying to target has finally bit the dust. Basically it means that if you can get the Gaunt's Ghost within 6 inches of an enemy target, Bragg will be able to throw infinite frag grenades at them, trying again, until eventually he succeeds. It might be literally the most painful thing to roll ever, having to roll frag grenades at ballistic skill 5+, it would take up a ridiculous amount of game time, but anything that can die in one shooting phase will die to Bragg's frag grenades, whether he's firing at a horde of Gaunts, Marnius Calgar of the Ultramarines, or even something enormous like an Imperial Knight, all the way up to a Warlord Titan. I think the only things that wouldn't be able to be killed like this is anything that would cap the amount of damage that they'd take in a single shooting phase, maybe things like Catan Shards or Ghazghkull Thraka perhaps. So like I said, obviously this is very silly, definitely not intentional in any way, shape or form, but I also find it absolutely hilarious that one guardsman who's happy to try again and again will try again and again until literally anything is destroyed. I certainly wouldn't advocate using it competitively, and I'm sure that at some point Games Workshop will likely fix it with an FAQ, though it's a bit questionable how fast they'd get round to it, seeing as the Gaunt's Ghost datasheet only comes packaged with them, it isn't actually in any books yet. I would say that I think it is also possible to read the rule in different ways as well. It says when the unit ends the attacks, this model gets to fire again, not the whole unit, but I think that it still checks out rules as written because the model is part of the unit, therefore after Bragg has fired, it will be the unit finishing their attacks again. Honestly though, I think it's a bit of a grey area, and possibly one that might have merited an FAQ anyway, even if there wasn't the possibility of literally infinite damage on the table. I also think it's pretty hilarious just the sheer amount of time that you'd need to roll this out. Each time Mr. Bragg pulls the pin and throws a frag grenade, you take up to 4 dice rolls to see the sequence through, rolling the number of attacks, the hit, the wound, and then rolling the save. And incidentally, each time you go through this sequence, you average a whopping 0.06 wounds on, say, a standard rhino. Say you were super speedy and managed to roll through in an average of 10 seconds. Maybe some dice rolls might take a little longer, some might be less, seeing as you might just miss your first shot. But say if you did manage to keep up that pace until his target was destroyed, to kill a standard 11 wounds 3+ save vehicle, you need around about half an hour of constant rolling just to kill something like a predator tank. I think by the time that you're done with that, you might well look up to see that your opponent has packed up and gone home. Just for the sake of argument though, if you did have an opponent who was happy to accept any units as auto-killed by Bragg's frag grenades of devastation, I still don't think it would necessarily mean that you're going to win all the time as Imperial Guard. You need to deliver the ghosts up to within 6 inches of their targets, probably piling out of something like a Chimera or a Valkyrie, and if they're right on the front lines, they're going to be right in harm's way for enemy units coming at them with reprisals. The infinite damage attack doesn't work on Overwatch, unfortunately, so it maybe means that you could just be charged and either have the ghost removed from the table altogether or just locked up so he wouldn't be able to fire with that frag grenade in the next phase. Don't get me wrong, it would be a pretty funny power move to play just to have him remove something from the game instantly. It'd certainly be a very silly tool to have in the arsenal, but I'm not sure that the ghosts, even with this, are going to win the game all by themselves. So anyway, thank you very much for humouring me in talking through another silly rules loophole. I'll most certainly be interested in what you guys have to say about it. Does it check out rules as written? Could it tip the balance between victory and defeat for the Imperial Guard if this did become widely accepted as a thing? And is there anyone listening at all who could be bothered to sit through half an hour of rolling just to kill one unit? I'm going to guess probably not. In any case, a massive thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, where I'll certainly keep these videos coming. I'll have new content for 40k out pretty much every day, and hopefully keep on plugging away with the Imperial Guard videos as we wait for the new codex. Hopefully we'll do a video on Kaschan tactics in the near future, and feel free to check out that Gaunt's Ghost video where I went over the rules. That came out about a week or so ago. Finally, if you'd like to help support the channel, I would just like to mention that I do have an Element Games affiliate link, which is down in the video description below. If you were thinking about buying any Warhammer 40k models in the near future, Element Games is a UK-based discount retailer, and they give around 10 to 20% off Games Workshop's models, so it can be a way to save a little bit more over Games Workshop. If you click the link in the video description and order anything at all through them, a small amount goes to help support Auspex Tactics without costing you any more whatsoever. It can just be one way to help support the channel if you were thinking about buying something anyway. For people in the USA and Canada, I also have an Amazon affiliate link as well. Again, that one works in pretty much the exact same way. Click the link, buy literally anything off Amazon, and a small amount will go to help support the channel. Again, can just be a way to contribute if you'd like to, on things that you're ordering anyway. In any case, an absolutely enormous thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.